Joe, a team that surprised everybody more than anything in the ACC last year has got to be the Louisville Cardinals, mainly due to having a new coaching staff, all the guys that they had to bring into the portal. They're maybe a player or two away from winning the ACC championship, a year ago. But the scary thing is here, they kind of have redone the exact same thing that they did a year ago. And I look at Louisville and ask, are they going to be a team that maybe not make it back to the ACC championship game, but are they going to be just as competitive as they were a season ago? What says you?
Louisville's turned into one of these teams that is living and dying by the transfer portal. They've got a lot of really underrated ads that they brought in. I really wish they kept Penny Boone, because their running back room, they're starting from scratch. Jawar Jordan, who was one of the best running backs in the ACC this past year, and then Isaac Arendo was just a size speed freak. If they had Penny Boone, I would have been slamming the table saying that they're going to be running all over people again. But running back room's a tiny bit of a question mark. They did bring in Colin Lacey, who was one of the most productive G5 receivers at South Alabama this past season. I will caution every ACC fan, get to know Thor Griffith. He is a shit brick house of a defensive tackle.
Jesus
Unbelievably.
Christ, you could use some more adjectives.
That is the best way to describe him, and that's the most nicest way that you can describe him, because he will run through your goddamn waist. He is so low to the ground and powerful. He's a former wrestler, or no, wait, maybe it was a hockey player. I forget what it was, but he is tough as nails. He is going to be somebody who starts to build up momentum, being talked about as one of the better defensive linemen in the ACC. He's got Isaac Arendo to play alongside. I think this team's actually better than last year. I think whoa, talent. No, ask anyone. A lot of people will say that. A lot of people will champion the way that they've improved. The only thing that really hurts me is that last year they had a really easy schedule, and they won the hardest game on their schedule against Notre Dame. So it made them look really freaking good. But they go to Notre Dame this year.
Or Notre Dame just wasn't any good.
Shush. Don't bring that up.
They weren't any good. I mean,
it's 2024. We moved on already. They host Miami. They go to Clemson, and they have to travel to Kentucky. It's a hard sell for me to sit here and say that they're going to be better than 8-4, 9-3. I think that they've got a tough slate of games that they got to match up with.
Did Notre Dame win a ranked game last year?
Yes.
Who?
I don't remember what their schedule is. What was off the top of my head?
Oh, okay.
No, they beat Clemson, and they beat USC.
Oh yeah, buddy, supreme. Holy shit!
We're talking about Louisville, man. Let's stay on topic here.
Thor Griffith, I agree. Here's the question that I have about Louisville that makes them so intriguing. Here's their defensive portal additions that may be starting come game one. Thor Griffith, Miles Jernigan, Tremel Logan, Jordan Gerard, Geronte Davis, Dan Foster, Corey Thornton, Tam McDonald. That is insane. Joe, here's what I'm going to do. I had a full breakdown of what I thought that I look at Louisville and say, you know what? No clue. When you are bringing in that much new pieces, talent, depth, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if any of these guys, most of these guys would start. I don't know. Here's what I know. I got no clue, because you're basically telling me, Joe, in your front seven that you have an issue. And that's what they're saying by going in the portal the way that they did. They also had to go in the portal and get two tackles. Monroe Mills at left tackle and Jonathan Mendoza will be at the right. I think it's very interesting, Joe. And you bring in Tyler Shuck. And Shuck got benched last year at Texas Tech. And I don't know what to make of him. But you know what? I look at him.
Well, he also got banged up, too. It wasn't just.
He did. That is very fair. I don't want to poo-poo on him. But at the same token, they did the same thing a year ago and were fighting for an ACC playoff or ACC championship game and a potential playoff spot. So I don't know what to make of them. I don't know what to make of a team that has to go that deep in the portal and get players. I really, Joe, what do you want me to come out here and say?
Wait, but here's the only thing that I push back on that is they literally did the same thing last year, and
But
they
those
had
are a
great
bunch of
season.
different players. What if it back? Let me give you an example. I'll give you an example that makes my team look bad. LSU did the same thing in 2022 and won the West by going in the secondary and getting a shitload of seniors. It paid off for him. Bryce Young had his worst game as a college quarterback ever in that game, literally. Okay, like not making it up. However, okay, the very next year, LSU did the same exact thing, and it bit them in the ass. And by the way, they got more talented players. Remember Denver Harris, and that's making my own team look bad. I don't know if you can. I think you have to go year in and year out and see what you have. I will say this though. That front seven got some dudes in it, though, boy.
Yeah, I'm less worried about the turnover on their defensive line because a lot of the guys that you mentioned are projected backups, except for Thor Griffith, who's projected to start at nose. I actually think where this comes into play more heavily is their offensive line because right now on our lads, they are projected, and this is what I noticed when I was doing my notes. They have a transfer starting left tackle, transfer
and
starting
Monroe
center,
Mills.
and right tackle with Jonathan Mendoza.
Right.
Not saying that those guys can't be good, but every time we've discussed offensive line groupings that you have multiple new faces that are transfers specifically, not guys that were on the team that were sophomores that are stepping up as juniors that were, they've been through multiple camps together. They've bonded and been through practices with one another. They've been through summer workouts together. These are new faces. It takes time at certain position groups for chemistry to be built. I also don't like Tyler Shuck. I mean, I don't care when it comes to giving quarterbacks a hard time that have been playing for a million years. This dude should be in the goddamn XFL or he should be selling insurance. I don't know why that they gave him another opportunity. He has never been good. He's never been good wherever he's played. I wouldn't be shocked if he's not even the starting quarterback by the end of the season if he doesn't get banged up again or if he just ends up stinking again. Like, what has he had like a good string of games? I feel like we've been like constantly. We said this last year too. We're like, man, I'm really worried about Texas Tech. If it wasn't for Shuck, we'd be more bullish on them. And that literally came to fruition.
Yeah, and look, hot take. You ready? I don't know if going into the season, the ACC is not going to surprise some people with teams that are up top. Right? Like, let me give an example. I think Miami is a shitload better than them. I think that Florida State is a lot better than them. I'm going to give you a hot take. Are you ready? I don't know if that Georgia Tech game's not going to be highly competitive. Dude, Georgia Tech, for what it's worth.
I don't bring up Georgia Tech.
All right, watch.
I don't want to talk about
Haynes King, baby. Haynes King.
That's
all you need to know.
They're going 4-8 this year.
They also have to play Kentucky, that I'm pretty high on.
I don't think that they can beat Kentucky. I think this year's Kentucky team's better than Louisville.
Kentucky beat them a year ago down the stretch. So again, I want to love Jeff Brom. I want him to have success. I'm a big Jeff Brom fan.
Brilliant. So, he's a great offensive coach.
Great offensive coach. I think that, let me ask this question. Somebody like Jeff Brom sees a guy like Shuck. Does it ever make you question about what they see?
Well, okay. What he got from Plummer is not far off, but I would argue Plummer was more productive at Cal with less than Shuck was at Texas Tech with more. So it does make you beg that question. Why I made the point of saying I wouldn't be shocked if he's not starting by the end of the season. I don't think that is we need this guy. He's going to take us to the next level. It feels like we need a veteran in the room so we can figure out where we're going. Pierce Clarkson, who's a redshirt freshman, was a former 4-star. I don't know how high they are on him. I don't know where that current situation sits, if they think he can eventually take over. But somebody like Shuck just elevates the floor a little bit. That's the only reason why I think you bring a guy like that in.
They do have a redshirt freshman that's behind him. Maybe he can come in and play a little bit. But Joe, I'm not there with him. I got to be real. Do you have their schedule up?
I can pull it up right now.
Let's go through their schedule and look through some of these games and see where we ultimately have them going and their record here. Because I'll be real with you. I don't know what I don't know, man. Like I want to be high on them.
Yeah, I don't think that if this year is not up to the level of the bar that they set last year, I don't think it means that the things are going poorly. If they go 8-4, I think with the difficult schedule that they have, I think that's an accomplishment. I think Braun needs to take a little bit more time to continue to develop through high school recruiting. I think that eventually is what he did at Purdue, and he eventually can really build a strong foundation, but it's going to take them potentially a few cycles to really get there. They open with Austin Peay. They play Jacksonville State. They host Georgia Tech. They go to Notre Dame. They host SMU. They go to Virginia. They host Miami. They go to Boston College. They go to Clemson. They go to Stanford. They host Pitt, and then they travel to Kentucky. I see 8-4. I see 9-3 if you pull out the upset against Kentucky. Or no, I wouldn't call it an upset because it's pretty somewhat evenly matched. But if you go on the road,
that game ain't evenly matched. That Kentucky defense is filled with nothing but straight dogs on it.
We were high on Kentucky. I won't doubt that statement you just had.
Well, because we should be. Joe, I see 4 losses in there.
That's what I mean. That's where I got 8-4 from.
Yeah, I see 4 losses. So you take a step back. I hate to say it, but
I don't think a step back is the end of the world. Like every fan assumes that if you go 10-2 to 8-4, that means the sky is falling. I don't think that means that. I think that you caught fire with a really winnable schedule. Now you're getting tested a little bit more, and it's just going to be more put up or shut up time. This video is sponsored by the online fitness training camp presented by Chris Gates Fitness. When I first started talking about Chris, about partnering with our show, not only was I excited to have a fitness sponsor for our pod, but more importantly, when I found out about how he can help people achieve their goals, I was even more bought in, because when the football season starts, it is so tough to stay on top of things and also to be able to enjoy yourself on Saturdays when it's game day. With Chris Gates Fitness's online training camp, you're going to be able to effectively stay focused, consistent, burn fat, build muscle, and do it with a like-minded community of individuals working towards the same thing. On top of this, you're going to be able to get direct coaching from Chris and the ability to ask him questions with an access to a live Q&A where you can get direct personalized support from Chris himself. Don't wait any longer. If you're trying to get in shape during this fall and you want to be able to do it with the right support system, head on over to chrisgatesfitness.com/trainingcamp or click the link in the description. And you need to do it today because you can get the first month. Personal training is expensive, folks. The first month for only $10 when you use that code RuffinoJoe. Don't wait any longer. Head on over there. BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.